Nico Hulkenberg will make a bombastic full-time return to Formula 1 with Haas next year after being confirmed with a race seat for 2023. The 35-year-old will team up with Kevin Magnussen and replace fellow German Mick Schumacher, whose departure was also announced earlier by Haas. Hulkenberg will be able to test this year's car at the Pirelli test in Abu Dhabi on the Tuesday after the race, while reserve driver and rookie Pietro Fittipaldi will drive the team's other car. Hulkenberg's name first surfaced as a possible Haas candidate in September, with Antonio Giovinazzi, the preferred choice of engine partner Ferrari, his main rival. Haas team boss Gunther Steiner has also insisted that Ferrari could only advise on drivers, and a crash in FP1 in Austin dashed Giovinazzi's hopes. The decision to replace Schumacher with Hulkenberg reflects a significant shift in strategy for the team, which ran 2 rookies in 2021 and will now enter the next season with 2 drivers who have competed in over 320 Grand Prix between them. Steiner made it clear that Hulkenberg's experience was critical to his collection and returned to F1 full-time after a 3-year absence. I'm naturally very pleased to be welcoming Nico Hulkenberg back to a full-time racing role in Formula 1. The experience and knowledge base Nico brings to the team is clear to see, with nearly 200 career starts in F1 and a reputation as being a great qualifier and a solid, reliable racer. These are attributes which, when you pair them together with Kevin Magnussen's experience, gives us a very credible and well-seasoned driver lineup which we believe will help push the team onwards up the grid. That's obviously the goal, and it was that ambition that has prompted Nico's return to F1. He shares our vision and can be a key player together with the rest of the team in building on the foundations we've laid this year with our return to the points battle. Hulkenberg has also issued a statement. I feel I've never really left Formula 1. I'm excited to have the opportunity to do what I love the most again and want to thank Gene Haas and Gunther Steiner for their trust. We have work ahead of us to be able to compete with all the other teams in the midfield, and I cannot wait to join that battle again. Hulkenberg has a stellar junior CV, having led Germany to the 2006-07 A1 GP title before winning the European F3 Championships in 2008 and the GP2 crown in consecutive years. He debuted in F1 with Williams in 2010, taking pole at Interlagos before being dropped in 2011 to make way for the well-sponsored Pastor Maldonado. As a result, he spent that season as a reserve for Force India before joining the Silverstone team in 2012. After a year with Sauber in 2013, he returned to Force India in 2014 to 2016, while also finding time to win the Le Mans 24 Hours with Porsche in 2015. He then spent 3 years with Renault, finishing 7th in the standings in 2018, but was replaced by Esteban Ocon at the end of 2019 and has not raced full-time since, instead taking up reserve roles with Racing Point and Aston Martin. In 2020, Hulkenberg served as a stand-in driver at Racing Point 3 times. He failed to start at the British Grand Prix and then qualified a surprise 3rd at the 70th anniversary race the following weekend. He scored solid points with 7th in the race, which he followed up with 8th at the Nürburgring. In October 2021, he had an IndyCar test with Arrow McLaren SP, but he made it clear that he had no interest in racing in the series. This year, he was called upon once again as a reserve driver by Aston Martin, starting with the first 2 races of the year in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia when Sebastian Vettel was ruled out due to COVID-19. Steiner insisted that the final decision was made recently, as Schumacher was only informed a day before the announcement that he would not be staying, and Hulkenberg signed his contract on the same day. When asked about the media if the situation would have been different had Schumacher taken pole position at Interlagos last weekend instead of teammate Kevin Magnussen, Steiner indicated that even such a performance would not have been sufficient. Nothing would have changed, he said, because you cannot make this decision on an emotional, one race or one qualifying result. That would be wrong. It could be wrong both ways. Steiner acknowledged that Schumacher's string of accidents earlier in the season did not help his cause, but emphasised that there was a larger picture to be considered. It's part of it, but you cannot just say, oh, he crashed, which obviously wasn't good. I'm not trying to make it good now, but then you can see how much influence his very good results have had. It's this balance you need to find. One thing is very good. When he finished in Austria and Silverstone, it was very good results. And then you had the bad things, the crashes. So it's a mix of it. But it was not one event as much as it looks like triggered this. It's a combination of things, and the biggest thing is going forward, we just want to build up the team again. Mick improved a lot during the season. You all see it, I don't have to tell you that one. Therefore, it took us so long. We didn't take this decision as people think already before the summer. It took us this long to decide what is best for the team. He drove good in some races. When asked about what Schumacher was missing, Steiner said, "I think the experience of multi-years in F1 and never having been with another team other than us. What Nico brings in, he's been with 3 or 4 teams before, so he has the experience, and experience takes time to make, and at that moment, we don't have time because we want to move forward. We don't want to be where we are now, we want to be better." Steiner went on to explain that he wanted to fix certain things in the team which would be easier to do with a more experienced driver like Hulkenberg, who was driven for several teams throughout his first decade-long stint in the series. A disappointed Schumacher first reacted to the news on social media, closing his statement with the initials PTW, which stands for Prove Them Wrong. In the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix press conference, Schumacher explained that he wants to prove everyone wrong, and not just Haas, who has been doubting his capabilities over the past 2 years. "PTW is what I've been saying most part of this year. I just felt like saying that because I think I want to prove everyone wrong who doesn't believe in me, because I know what I can do. I've proven that in the junior categories, and I don't see a reason why I can't do that." Schumacher acknowledged his ups and downs at Haas, but felt his performance curve was trending upwards compared to teammate Magnussen in the second half of 2022. After the summer break, Schumacher qualified faster than his more experienced teammate 3 times, and within 0.2 on 3 other occasions. Haas struggled to maintain its place in the midfield, however, and Magnussen was responsible for the only 3 points the team scored since July's Austrian Grand Prix. "Obviously, it's disappointing in some ways because I feel like I've been doing a good job up to this point," Schumacher explained. "We've had our ups and downs for sure, but I think that the trend was always pointing upwards, and I think that's what's important, and it's only my second year. It was definitely something I had to get used to, being in the midfield pack fighting, and I feel that across the year we've managed to do that, and I feel like I've extracted the maximum amount of each situation. The trend is there." Amid suggestions that Schumacher could take up a reserve role elsewhere, the 23-year-old said that he would take the time to consider his options, given that the Haas seat was the last spot on the 2023 F1 grid that was still up for grabs. So, does Haas signing Hulkenberg come as a surprise? Well, no. Hulkenberg's signing by Haas is a logical and pragmatic decision, given that he is a proven, experienced driver who knows how to consistently accumulate points in F1's midfield. The likelihood of a greater point total next season is high. It's all too easy to get caught up in the debate about who deserves a drive, and there have been numerous suggestions that the 35-year-old Hulkenberg has demonstrated everything he's capable of in F1 and therefore does not merit another chance. However, that is not the point. The objective of drivers hired by teams is to score as many points as possible. Each position in the Constructors' Championship is worth millions of dollars. And for a team like Haas, that is a significant impact. F1 is a results-oriented enterprise, and Hulkenberg is simply the best plug-and-play option among the available and interested drivers who guarantee a high level of results. But what do you think of the situation? Did Schumacher merit a second chance in 2023? Or has he committed too many mistakes this year? Should a different alternative have been considered? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of future uploads.